So let's begin CA Inter Audit January 25 related mock test paper 1. If at all any of your listening classes, if at all in Hindi, no, just withdraw from it. Listening in Hindi classes, if at all, I don't mostly we south side we don't listen in Hindi. You don't connect with the original terminology. When you subsequently read, when you listen to class in Hindi, no, like you understand. Even if I suppose if somebody is teaching in Tamil audit, you will understand. Regional languages we can understand the subject, but the point is connecting to the terminology, reading it again subsequently, you will not get that connection. You will feel extreme difficult. Those who are listening classes in regional languages, they require to spend 12 to 14 hours on an average just to qualify. 3 months. Those who are listening classes in English, that too with a very good conceptual clarity, they require on an average 8 to 9 hours only to revise. The amount of hard work after coaching, that increases substantially if you listen to the classes in regional languages. That's why listen only in English, because you're ultimately going to write in English, which means you must connect to that. So MTP1 straight away, first we'll solve MCQs, okay, then we will solve descriptive. Case scenario 1, pay attention right from the first line, because when you read a case study, you should immediately recollect. When you read the question, you should immediately be able to recollect the main answer. Now, generally, before case study, you see the question, okay, the question if you see, considering approach of J, what assertions verified by J, considering the view of Ankush, okay, as regards matter of holding, which means here, if you see the question, without studying case study, you can't solve them. Some MCQs will be there. Without even reading the case study, you can directly solve the MCQ. Getting it? For that reason, first you have to check that. Okay? Briefly reading it and then checking, okay, fine. So here something they're referring to case study, which means reading case study is now essential. While auditing A&J Industries Private Limited, J has decided that it would be appropriate to examine 100% of the items comprising turnover, which is 30 crore as reflected in financials. He is checking 100%. He is verifying what? 100%. And turnover, comprising turnover means obviously test of details. Yes or no? Next, in this regard, he has designed a test of details for transactions forming part of the company's turnover. The sales function is automated in the company's information system involving repetitive nature of calculations. If you observe, the sales is completely automated. Means it's an automated environment. When it is automated environment, the major amount of focus should be given on the controls. Remember, we have seen the same point in risk assessment and internal control topic. Controls will be given major attention and details will be given lesser attention. Of course, we check test of details, but he decided that it would be appropriate to examine 100% of the items. In spite it is automated environment, the auditor decided to go with 100% examination of details. What could be the reason? Controls are not effective. Generally, in an automated environment, we give major importance to controls. Yes or no? If controls are not effective, then we ignore existence of controls. We do 100% checking. Correct? Further, in respect of designing test of controls pertaining to turnover, he is in a difficult situation. Fix means difficult situation. Getting it? So, when he is testing the controls, when he is designing to test controls, he is feeling difficult, which means he don't want to test controls. He straight away want to test details. Are you clear? Fine. This is first observation. Then, while verifying turnover of the company, CAJ ensures that all the sales were correctly recorded in the books of accounts based on invoices and discounts have been properly adjusted. Up to this, CAJ ensuring that all the sales were correctly recorded. Indirectly is checking what? Completeness and cutoff assertion. Correct? And discounts have been appropriately adjusted means it's a measurement and valuation. For transaction items, we call measurement. For balance sheet items, we call valuation. Both are valuation related only. But for P&L items, we generally call it as measurement. For balance sheet, we call it as valuation. Fine. Similarly, in respect of verification of employee benefit expenses, which are reflected in financial statements, he ensured that TDS adjustments are correctly reconciled. TDS adjustment P&L item means, are they focusing on occurrence, completeness, measurement, measurement. TDS adjustment means whether the amount calculated is correctly adjusted or not. Means it's talking about value. It means it talks about measurement. Correct? Remember all this we understood. In items of financial statements, at every place, at every topic when we discussed in our class, I told you at every topic how this can be tested as an MCQ. The same is being now reflected in case study. Next. Ankush is an article assistant who has recently joined CAJ for practical training. He is also part of the team assisting seniors. Although he know about the assertions, there remain several doubts about assertion in his mind. He noted down the following points about assertion as per his understanding. So assertions means what he's listing down. Assertions are representations made by auditor. Wrong. They are representations made by management which are considered by auditor to identify potential misstatements. Correct? Question number 11, audit evidence topic. Assertions are explicit, not implied. Wrong. We have seen implicit assertions. Yes or no? Yes. Verification of, again, negative assertions we have seen. Yes or no? Yeah. Verification of assertions helps the auditor in finding out whether financial statements are in accordance with applicable. This is right. You verify assertions to know whether they are presented as per applicable framework, whether they are done as per. That is right. Means third point is right. First 2 points his understanding is wrong. Correct? Next. In normal course of business, the company holds a part of goods as consignee. When you're holding goods as a consignee, will you consider them in your closing stock valuation? They are goods belonging to third party. When you are checking physical inventory counting, this must be excluded. Correct? While verifying assertions relating to inventory, he ensured that inventory held by company as consignee of goods on behalf of third parties is excluded from inventory to know complete inventory picture of the own inventory. Correct? That's it. Case study is over. Based on the above facts, answer the following. Considering the approach of J in respect of test of details, what is the approach? What he decided 100%. And approach of test of controls, what is the approach? He is unable to verify. Yes or no? Which of the following statement is most appropriate? They are asking you most, not least. Getting it? Most appropriate. The approach for both test of details and test of controls is proper. The approach for designing test of details is proper. However, it is an unlikely approach for test of controls. The approach for test of details controls is proper. No, that is wrong. The approach for designing test of details as well as test of controls not proper. So this is wrong. This is wrong. First one, he is not doing test of controls. He is only approaching for details. So the answer is B. Actually, the answer is not that clear technically. So what we did actually, we eliminated 3 whatever wrong answers we felt. Yes or no? Automatically B became the right answer. Are you getting it? The approach for both designing test of details, test of controls is proper. Once again, let us see his approach. Further, in respect of designing test of controls pertaining to turnover, he is in a complex situation. The sales function is automated, repetitive calculations involving repetitive. In respect of designing test of controls pertaining to turnover, he is in a dilemma. He is in a difficult situation. He is in a dilemma. Getting it? So here, what approach they are following for test of controls? Nothing is given. Technically, what is his approach? They have not given. They only told about his state of mind. Regarding test of controls, his state of mind is in dilemma. That is only they have given. What is his approach for test of controls? They didn't give anything technically. Yes or no? So the question is little incomplete, I feel. The question itself is little incomplete. But in this case, we predominantly know when you decided, in spite of this, you decided what? Testing 100% of details, which means you are ignoring controls, which means you want to do test of controls. When you decided you want to do test of controls, what is the only approach you do? Test of details. And with that logic, it is unlikely approach for he may not do test of control. So with that logic, we will select option B. Able to understand? All of you. Next, which assertions are being verified by J for correctness of recordings of sales on the basis of invoice, including adjustments for discount? What assertion, which means discount means measurement? Yes or no? And TDS adjustment, that is also measurement. Option A. Correct? All of you. Next, suppose no, if at all they have given here completeness of, I mean not like that, whether all the sales are recorded, if at all they gave, and they excluded this adjustment for discount point, then it is completeness measurement. Correct? Considering the view of Ankush, he is what talking about what assertion meaning. Yes or no? Which of the following statements are false? 3 statements they give. 2, 1 and 2 are false. 3 is right. Correct? What is the question they're asking? Which of the following, I mean, considering view of the Ankush, which statements are false? 1 and 2 are false. Correct? A. As regards the matter of holding of certain inventories as consignee of goods, which type of assertion are being verified by the auditor? Indirectly, what are they verifying? Consignee goods not belonging to us. So when we are counting inventory, only our goods has to be taken. Our goods means what? Our owned goods. Completeness and rights and obligation. But is it about cutoff and valuation? No. Is it only completeness? No. Is it only ownership? No. We are eliminating consignee goods because they are not belonging to us. So that if you eliminate that, what are all the inventory belonging to us? Complete inventory we can take into account. Able to understand? So B is most right answer. Able to understand? Because if you see inventory completeness, if you see consignee point is there in our book. Then you see inventory value, I mean verification of inventory items of financials, in that inventory assertion, inventory completeness assertion is there. There you see this point will be there. Consignee related goods has to be excluded. Here there might be one point also. You might confuse even with rights and obligation also. Because consignee goods are not belonging to us, they are not belonging to us, so we will exclude them. So what are they doing first of all here? While verifying assertions related to inventory, he ensured that inventory held by company as consignee of goods on behalf of third parties is excluded from inventory. You may classify only rights and obligation also, because no, why? What assertion I am verifying? Consignee goods are not belonging to us because we are not owner for it. That is also correct. Only when you exclude it, you will get a complete picture of inventory owned by the entity. So that's a both completeness related assertion, rights and obligation related assertion, both. Are you getting it? This answer appears to me much more correct than only this. Actually, this is also correct. This is also correct. It is addressing completeness. It is also addressing existence. Now, if you see here, it is they said the only word. That is why it is not correct. Are you getting it? If at all they mention rights and obligation and completeness, I mean up to this, I think I would have selected this better. But since they used only rights and obligation assertion, it is addressing, I didn't select this. It is addressing both completeness as well as rights and obligation. Able to understand. Next. Okay. So we'll see answers at last at a time. Then. Can I proceed? Or else you will forget again. Wait. So fourth one B. 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 Correct. Okay. Is it visible? B. Okay. That's it. Next. Question number 5. Revant, Manohar, Piyush. They are planning to set up a new business for trading of electronic goods. They have heard in business circles that many entrepreneurs are setting up organizations as LLPs. LLP audit. Different types of entities. However, they lack knowledge about legal structure. So they decided to approach CAS, who ignored LLP audit, which is not important question in exam. So they decided to approach CAS for understanding the difference between partnership, LLP and a private company. Next. They also wanted to gain the knowledge of legal provisions regarding number of partners, paperwork involved in forming LLP. 2 partners, 2 must be designated partners. Yes or no? Further, they are also having doubts regarding maintenance of books of accounts and audit requirement for organization. When audit is required for LLP, turnover 40 lakhs crossed or total capital contribution crossed 25 lakhs. In both of these cases, audit is mandatory. If both of them are less than 40, less than 25, then it's a small LLP. Yes or no? Revant, being cost conscious, specifically ask CAS regarding requirement of audit of LLP, because you want to know first thing before I go for LLP, let me know what is the audit cost involved and all. One of the partner, during the discussion, he shared he shares that they are expecting a turnover of 5 crore in the first year of their business, and funds amounting to 50 lakhs would be brought as capital. Obviously, more than 25 lakhs, more than 14 lakhs. Correct? Manohar is concerned about rules regarding maintaining accounting software with audit trial feature. Audit trial feature accounting software is compulsory for company. It's not compulsory for LLP. But if they want to maintain, they can maintain. That's not an issue. He has a vague understanding gained through social media that such rules have recently came into effect. That rules came into effect for companies, not for LLPs. Moreover, he believes that these features are useful only for the auditors. No, it is useful for companies too, management too. It's an internal control. To address his concerns, CAS is attempting to explain these matters to him. Now, after resolving the doubts, they decided to constitute LLP named Blitz Products LLP with the professional assistance of the CAS who helped them in completing the necessary paper formalities. After constituting the LLP, they acquired dealerships of few reputed companies and received a good response from the market due to prominent location of the showroom, and are confident of achieving their turnover expectation within first year. They plan to get their accounts audited after the closure of the year from CAS. Okay. The finance and accounts function of the business is being headed by Piyush, and he plans to contact him somewhere around August for getting audit of financial statements conducted, filing of income tax return, making necessary compliances on behalf of LLP. If you recollect LLP compliances, they need to file annual return, they need to file statement of solvency. Annual return must be filed within 60 days from the balance sheet date. Statement of solvency must be filed within 6 months from the end of the financial. If you remember, statement of solvency, we even did ChatGPT that example. We originally misinterpreted saying it is the first half of the financial year. Then we realized that after balance sheet it is within 6 months. Remember, statement of solvency form number 8 has to be filed within 6 months from the end of the financial statements, from the date of the financial statements. Annual report must be filed within 60 days, which means by May 30. But he is contacting him in August month, which means annual return will be belated. But statement of solvency 6 months time is there, September 30 time is there. So further it's okay. Correct? Fine. Based on the above facts, answer the following. Which of the following is correct regarding the difference in types of organizational structure and connected matters? Oh, like they're asking a generalized question. LLP gives benefit of flexibility of limited liability partnership and good governance of company. LLP gives benefit of partnership and company, not LLP and LLP is a benefit of LLP. LLP gives benefit of limited liability of a company and a flexibility of a partnership. Yeah, this seems good. A minimum of 2 individuals are required to form LLP, and at least 2 partners are required to take designated partner identification number. Very good. The regulatory authority in case of LLP is ROC. Absolutely, this answer is right. But we'll see remaining answers also. LLP gives benefit of limited liability of a company and flexibility of partnership. A minimum of 2 individuals are required, and at least 2 partners are required to take DIN. No, DPIN is. It's not DIN. See one letter. If you do not pay attention, you will tick C answer. Correct? Next. Always select an answer only after reading 4 options. Never conclude after reading second option, this is right, go and bubbling it. No. Okay. LLP gives the benefit of limited liability of a company and a flexibility of partnership. A minimum of 3 individuals. Wrong. So straight away the answer is B. That's it. The answer is B. Next. Which advice would have been provided by CAS to Revant regarding audit of financials of LLP considering description provided? There is no compulsory audit. Wrong. Every LLP is compulsory required to audit. That is also wrong. There exists provision under LLP and relevant rules for audit of LLPs based on twin criteria. One is turnover and contribution threshold. However, proposed business does not meet the threshold. Wrong. They met the threshold. There exists a provision under LLP and relevant rules based on twin criteria of turnover and contribution threshold. The proposed business meet the threshold and would be required to get. Yes, answer is D. Generally, some students know A, B, C is right, wrong. No, they directly pick up the D. Sometimes your reading might be wrong in the first 3. Are you getting it? When you read 4th option only, you may find a mistake in 4th option also. That time you will reread again. Then you will find B option correct. So never conclude based on first reading. Always do twice reading, slowly, thoroughly. Have a calm mind when you are doing an exam. Have a calm mind. And first thing, you always solve MCQs in exam. That's the best thing. First, always solve MCQs. Only conceptual command is enough to crack MCQs. If you are conceptually commandable, MCQs are done. Next, you're able to see when you're reading the case study, you're able to figure out the answers. Which of the following statement is correct regarding Manohar's point of view? Audit trails are useful only for auditor. Wrong. Audit trails are useful for business as well as auditors. However, maintenance of accounts in software having feature of audit trail is not compulsory for LLP. Yeah, this is correct. Okay. So, maintenance of accounts in software having audit trail is compulsory. Wrong. Audit trails are business as well as auditor. Maintenance of accounting software is compulsory LLP. No, that is wrong. Completely the answer is B. Yes or no? Next. Which of the following statement is correct regarding Piyush plan? What Piyush plan has decided? Like he want after the financial statements are prepared, he want to contact the auditor. Fine, let's see. Auditor is required to be appointed at least 30 days prior to 31st March. No. First auditor of LLP shall be appointed at any time before 31st March, at any time before the end of the first financial year. Subsequent auditor must be appointed at least 30 days before the end of the first, that but respective financial year. Remember, LLP auditor, first auditor at any time before the end. Subsequent auditor 30 days prior to the end of the financial year. Auditor is required to be appointed 60 days prior. Wrong. Auditor is required to be appointed at any time before 31st March. Remember, this is first year for them. First year means first auditor. Therefore, Piyush plan to approach CAS is not in accordance with the relevant rules. Yes, because he decided to approach him after 31st March. Yes or no? So the answer is C. But we'll see. Piyush plan is proper and there is no specific provision. No, that's wrong. So the answer is C. Clear? Next. Considering Piyush plan to contact CAS in August 2024 for making necessary regulatory compliance could lead to, if at all he contact him in August, CA, if the partner contacted CA for regulatory compliance in August, it could lead to default by LLP in filing annual return. Correct? Default by LLP in filing statement of solvency. No. Statement of solvency 6 months time is there. Default in LLP by filing both. No, that's wrong. No default. No. So obviously the answer is A. So annual return could have been defaulted because annual return has to be filed by May end. More precisely May 30. 60 days from the end of the financial year. Where a statement of solvency can be filed within 6 months from the end of the financial year. So where there is a time limit even in the August month. So it could not lead to default in statement of solvency and accounts. Yes or no? That's it. Easy. So you see 9A, okay, C, B, D, B. We'll see A, C, B, D and B. Correct? Easy. Next. Verma and Associates were appointed as auditors of Royal Construction Limited for the financial year 23-24. During the audit, the auditors observed a significant amount of work in progress inventory. Instead of attending physical inventory count, they relied upon alternative procedures. Work in progress, they didn't, went and they saw they just got the evidence through alternative procedure. These procedures including reviewing production reports, reconciling them with recorded inventory level and analyzing various variance trends to assess the accuracy of work in progress. Okay. So all multiple records are verified, analytical procedure they performed, all that. The auditor also noticed that the company has obsolete inventory of 1,75,000 which had an estimated realizable value 50,000 and the company has valued it in cost. No, it is to be valued at 50,000 NRV. During the review of property, plant and equipment, the audit team noted that the company included 1,05,000 for employee benefits related to acquisition of PPE. Yes, when he is verifying PPE, audit team identified 1,05,000 employee benefit expense related to acquisition of PPE. That can be included, right? Elements of cost in PPE. We have seen a question specifically. What are the points to be included in PPE? Introduction that is there. What are the points to be included? What points will not form part of cost? That also I have told you in items of financials. This can be included. No, this can be capitalized. 1,25,000 for testing the functionality. Testing expenses cannot be capitalized, which is offset by 35,000 received from sale of samples produced during testing. So 1,05,000 you can add, 1,25,000 you can add, but 35,000 you have to reduce. Trial run related profit has to be reduced. Correct? Next. Verma and Associates derive a significant portion of their income from Royal Construction Limited. Verma and Associates is the audit firm. Significant portion of their revenue, audit firm, major portion of the revenue they are getting from one client, Royal Construction, the company which we are auditing actually, where the fees is 10 lakh, which is representing 65% of their total revenue. For our firm, 65% revenue comes only from one client. What kind of threat is this? Major fees received, self-interest threat. Despite finding financial discrepancies of 3 lakh in the company accounts, means our audit firm has found some differences of 3 lakh in the company accounts. The partner decided to overlook these issues to maintain a lucrative relationship with the client. Self-interested, that's the reason. Correct? Based on the above facts, answer the following. Royal Construction Limited should have valued absolute inventory at 50,000 straight away. The answer is A. Yes or no? What amount should be included in the cost of PP in the financial statements? PP related cost, how much is to be included? 1,05,000 plus 1,25,000 minus 35,000. How much it is? 1,95,000. The answer is 1,95,000. Correct? How much to be capitalized? Nothing but 1,95,000. Correct? Many students know, they sometimes when they see this 105, 125, both they will add total 2,30,000, they'll select 2,30,000. Trial run expenses has to be reduced. No. That is why they gave that information. Next. What potential threat to the independence of Verma Associates arising from the fees 10 lakh rupees? Self-interest threat. It is straight away self-interest threat. It is not intimidation. It is not familiarity. It is not self-review. Suppose no, if you're doing audit, if the client started blackmailing you, I will replace you. What kind of threat is this blackmailing? Then that's an intimidation. Here that kind of any such thing is there. Our firm itself is compromising before client blackmails. Correct? So that's because our firm is having major interest in the client, because we are receiving major amount of fees from the client. So 12A, A. Oh, all the 3 A only. Yeah, correct. Easy. Next. Then normal MCQs. Mrs. RJ and Associates Chartered Accountants has been auditing the books of GP Resorts Private Limited for the past 2 years. GP Resorts Private Limited has experienced a significant increase in visitors due to successful market campaigning. Okay, so past 2 years there is an increase in various visitors. Okay, this increase in number of visitors has prompted the resort to introduce new services such as event hosting, which contribute to higher revenue. Okay, there is a change in line of business. Correct? Change in the nature of business. Whether RJ Associates should issue a revised audit engagement letter? Yes. Remember, one of the important factor in engagement letter, under what circumstances engagement letter will be reissued? Change in nature of business, significant change in business. Wrong. Okay, A and C, D wrong. Yes, the auditor is required to issue new engagement letter for each period. That is wrong. Yes, a new engagement letter is required due to significant change in nature and size of the business. The answer is C. Yes or no? For each period you need not issue unless circumstances arise. Yes or no? So the answer is C. Correct? Tad and Associates, a sole proprietor from Agamya, okay, is offered appointment as an auditor of a company which is engaged in manufacturing automobile components for the first time. First time he was appointed as an auditor. She is checking the facts about the integrity of the promoters of the company and key managerial persons. Integrity of the promoter, key manager, acceptance and continuation of client relationship, SQC. Matters such as competence of staff to perform is also considered. Yes or no? Acceptance, integrity of the client, competence of the team. The appointment is subsequently accepted after checking this. What is Agamya is trying to do? He is establishing strategy. He is conducting preliminary. Yeah, she is conducting preliminary. He is designing audit plan. He is checking her compliance with ethical. No, she is doing preliminary engagement. Remember, I told this. Sometimes no, they will give you another option. C. She is doing procedures required under quality control while accepting and continuing a client relationship. That answer is also there. Then you select that answer. That is even more accurate. Yes or no? Yes. Next. A practicing chartered accountant has been engaged by a company to perform certain procedures related to trade payables. Okay, procedures related to trade payables only he is performing. Such agreed upon procedures. It's an agreed upon procedure. Related service. Standards on related service. First topic, nature, objective and scope of audit, types of engagements, audit, review, assurance, related services. There also the same example is the trade payables. So, okay, such agreed upon procedures includes verification of purchases from related parties, sending confirmation letters, reporting discrepancies to the management. What work she is doing? External confirmation, tallying that, related parties, and then final differences were the reporting to the management, not giving opinion on the financials. Look at, she is not appointed, she has been engaged by a company to perform certain procedures relating to trade. Only for trade payables work you are called for. Is it an audit engagement? Is it a review? Is it an assurance? It's a related service. Which of the following statement is correct in the context? The practicing CA shall perform work in accordance with standards on related and auditing. Wrong. The practicing CA shall perform the work in accordance with related service and SQC, which is correct. Practicing shall perform as per standards on auditing. Wrong. Standards on assurance. Wrong. The answer is standards on related service, and SQC is applicable for all types. So the answer is B. So 15B, 14B, BBC. Correct? BBC. That's it. The answer is over. MCQs are over. Hardly we spent less than around 25 to 26 minutes. 30 marks is the weightage. 30 into 1.8. How much time it is? 8 3s are 20, 54 minutes. We hardly done within half time. Okay, you take bubbling 5 minutes, let us assume. Okay, so you completed within 30-35 minutes MCQ paper, correct? 30 marks MCQs. The time available is proportionately 54 minutes, correct? If you are conceptually commendable, I'm telling you, MCQs can be scored 30 out of 30 easily. Next. If you see September 24 paper MTP, that's sorry, MCQs, they're very easy. They're not even this standard. They're very easy. That itself our students do mistakes. Only because of the tension. And they don't study. Important question they'll study. Exam you will get exactly unimportant question. Never run behind expected questions, all that. Okay, that is only for the last resort. If luck is there, you will qualify, and if not, you will fail. That's it. Next. 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes, we'll take a gap and then start descriptive. So let's begin MTP1 descriptive part. During the audit of a company, Jack has obtained written representations from management regarding all known instances of non-compliance with laws and regulations that should have been considered in preparation of the financial statements. However, during the audit, he observed that the information provided in this regard was incomplete. I was shocked actually, because this is actually 250 related standard which we don't have in CA Inter. But actually later part of the question you will understand. He observed that the information provided was incomplete and the audit evidence indicating such non-compliance contradicted with representations, casting doubt. The question is about doubts on reliability of representation. How should auditor proceed when there is a doubt about reliability of representation? Remember, essay 580 is right answer. Doubts about some question was 7 or 8, that answer in our book. In essay 580 we have some 9 or 10 questions. One question it is right. Doubts about reliability of written representation provided. The auditor has to perform alternative procedures to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence, and if at all alternative is also possible, he should modify the opinion. Correct? The answer is given here. And you should, if there is a doubts on the representation, you should once again reassess the integrity of the management, all that. You should reassess the integrity of the management. What about other representations they provided? How far they are reliable and genuine? Getting it? That answer. Straight question in our book. CA Shubham, the auditor of Sigma Limited, is performing test of controls, test of details using audit sampling. During these procedures, he observed deviations in compliance with management's prescribed procedures for sales transactions of small values of a product at one location during the test of controls. When he's testing controls at one location regarding sales, he identified deviations from the prescribed control. Additionally, misstatements were identified in the sample related to the small value transaction during the test of details. Control deviated, mistakes are also found. How should he proceed to analyze the nature and cause of deviations and misstatements observed? Nature and cause of deviations and misstatements sampling. Question number 12. Straight question. 17, I guess. It is somewhere in the last 5. It's not 12 also. It's last 5. 12 is regarding methods of sampling. Yeah. Cause, nature and cause of deviation and misstatements. You see. Is it anomaly or non-anomaly? That discussion will be there. In our sampling chapter, it is question number 17. SA 530. Correct? Whereas this one, doubts about reliability. SA 580. Question number somewhere between 7, 8, 9. 9. That's doubts about reliability. Correct? Next. I'm directly giving you the references. You can open our book, PDF or book. You can directly go to that respective standard and open this question and see. Next. CS Rishti, while auditing KSM Private Limited for the first time, utilized software to analyze financial data, comparing amounts recorded in the financials for current year audit with the preceding 2 years. Our objective was to evaluate risk of MMS. Identify the type of procedure performed by Rishti in the given case, analytical procedure. Discuss its relevance and explain whether an auditor opinion can only rely upon such procedure. No, only analytical procedure may not be sufficient. This is 330 related. SA 330 related. In the standard it is there, you see. This point will be there in the standard. SA 330 standard, this point will be there. Answer is given here also. She is performing analytical. Analytical procedure performed as risk assessment may identify aspect of the entity which auditor is unaware, may assist the auditor in assessing MMS in order to provide basis for designing appropriate response. Yes or no? Analytical procedure may help identify meaning. Risk assessment procedure basis. And however, analytical procedure do not provide sufficient appropriate on which to base the opinion. So it can be concluded the auditor opinion cannot be based upon substantive analytical. You see, under SA 330, substantive analytical process side heading will be there. Below that matter, fourth point in our book, SA 530, point number 4. Correct? Same answer, copy pasted. Next, CA Paras. CA Paras has accepted audit of financial statements of an entity. According to the standards on auditing, the auditor is required to send an audit engagement letter to the entity. What are the key areas that should be included in engagement letter? Under what circumstances the auditor is not required to record the terms of engagement in such written agreement? This is a wonderful question. Under what circumstances is the auditor not required to record the terms of engagement in such a written agreement? Open SA 210 in our book, part 2. Chapter number 2, part number 2. In our book it is. In ICA book it is chapter number 11. Okay. Inside that, what are the contents? What are the key areas that auditor should include? Engagement letter includes what? Format is there. Objective and scope. Responsibilities of management. Responsibilities of auditor. Identification of applicable financial reporting framework. I will open it. I will show you straight away. Yes, this one. Actually, I told you to strike off this point. Do you remember? This was asked. Getting it? This was asked. Look at the question. This is one very good question. This is one very good question. I didn't expect this level. This is very advanced. That particular point is advanced. I'll discuss it right now. This one. Under what circumstances the auditor is not required to record the terms of engagement in written agreement? When terms and conditions need not be in writing. If law and regulation clearly talks about terms and conditions, do we need to have an engagement letter? That's it. This point will logically discussed, conceptually discussed. Just that point, you see that point also here. If law or regulation prescribe in sufficient detail the terms of audit engagement, then auditor need not record them in written agreement, except for the fact that law and regulation applies and management acknowledges and understands its responsibilities. Why engagement letter? First of all, to avoid disputes. to avoid confusion on what is your duty, what is my duty. But if law clearly says what is your duty and my duty, do I need to have an engagement letter? That's it. Except management should acknowledge their responsibilities. Preconditions must be accepted. If they accepted the responsibilities under law and regulation clearly talks about terms of audit, I need not give engagement letter. That is what they gave. And this point we discussed. This concept we discussed as an introduction to the engagement letter itself. Why engagement letter and where it is required? When the law is silent, this is required. Remember, in case of non-statutory audits and all, engagement is highly important. So that is what this point in exam, no, they will give weightage for this. Like for example, you write this answer, right? So what are the circumstances? 5 marks, right? For this, some 3 marks they would have given. For this, 2 marks they would have been allocating. 99.99% of the students will not connect with this point. Thank God there is a question on that, and we are able to understand that point can be tested like this. Under what circumstances auditor is not required to record the term? When he is not required, it's not compulsory. Again, by the way, if you want to record, you can record still. If law or regulation contains sufficient details on terms of engagement, the auditor need not include them in a written engagement letter, except for the fact that management acknowledged their responsibilities. Understood? Include that point in our book. Able to understand. Very important question. Very good question also. Clear all of you? That's it. I will crop this part of the video and then put as an extension in my Google Drive also. Better. Next. Confident until now? When the auditor modifies the audit opinion, the auditor shall use the heading qualified, adverse, disclaimer of opinion as appropriate for the opinion section. Briefly explain when the auditor. Definitions. Straight question 705. Rajul Limited engaged an external practitioner, Rajul, to provide assurance on PFI, prospective financial information, for the upcoming year, which includes projections for a new product line. The company projected 15% increase in revenue, estimating total sales to be 75 crore, driven by expected launch of the new product. Mention the applicable engagement quality control standard and the level of assurance that will be provided in the given situation. The standard applicable is standard on assurance, and the level of assurance is moderate. You see in our NOS, nature, objective and scope, some 14, 15, 16 question somewhere. Also explain how PFI is different from historical. You need to write the definition of PFI. You need to write the definition of HFI. Which question? Question number 12 in our book. In nature, objective and scope of audit, it is question number 12. Straight answer. Next. Mahavir and Associates is appointed as stat auditor of KBC Bank for the year 23-24. During the audit, Chandana, an article trainee, noticed Siddharth Industries has an outstanding loan of 50 lakh as on 31st March. On March 29, the company made a payment of 10 lakh, reducing the outstanding loan balance to 40 lakh. Remember, you are a bank auditor, okay? 40 lakh. However, on 4th April, Siddharth Industries initiated a reversal transaction of 8 lakh. Outstanding loan 50, reduced it to 40. Again, there is a reversal. Assets regularized near balance sheet date. Special NPA norm. Assets regularized near balance sheet date. NPA norms, you see. Question number 17 in our book. Bank audit, question number 70. In that part number A. Somewhere 15, 16, 17, 18, somewhere in that slot it will come. Bank audit. 14 onwards advances will start. In our book, 14 onwards advances will start. 17th question is about special NPA norms. Yes or no? First point is assets regularized near. First point or second point? Assets regularized near the balance sheet date. Question number 17, point number A. Correct? So, the payment and subsequent reversal occurred in a short period with the final outstanding 48 lakh after reversal. Considering the scenario, what should be the response of Mahavir and associate to this matter, particularly regarding classification of borrower account as potential risk, as there is a potential risk of that account slipping into NPA? Assets regularized at balance sheet, and in the given case, close near the balance sheet date, there is a there is a repayment, and subsequent it was reversed. It indicates an inherent risk that it is an NPA. So the account has to be classified as an NPA by the auditor. That's it. Clear? You are appointed as an auditor of the prestigious township club. As the auditor of prestigious township club for the year 2023-24, what are the key points you would consider while auditing income and expenditure of a club audit? Straight question. During the audit of a limited company, a start auditor, you discover that a fraud amounting to 5 lakh has been committed by the company. Okay. What are the reporting requirements regarding fraud under CARO? This is the question. Ignore about this. The question is asking, what are the reporting responsibility for CARO? Clause number 11, CARO 2020. Point number 1, whether any fraud noticed or reported by the company or on the company. 2, whether the auditor has filed any form under ADT 4 to central government. 3, whether whistleblower complaints have been considered by the auditor or not. Three points will be there. Getting it? So each of it might be 1, 1, 1. One of the point might be having 2 marks weightage. Clear? Probably first point is there, right? Whether any frauds noticed or reported by the company or on the company. On the company, by the company, 1 mark would have been there. Able to understand? Easy or not? CA Karan wants to test completeness assertion relating to intangible assets reflected in financials of Data Solutions Private Limited. CA Karan wants to test the completeness assertions relating to intangibles. What is the procedure to be performed? Straight away, intangibles, completeness related. I told you, cutoff, so not cutoff. In completeness, some points will be there. Items of financials, correct? Next, SA 330, items of financials, straight question. SA 330 states that auditor shall design and perform test of controls to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence as regarding operating effectiveness of relevant control. Briefly discuss when the test of controls are designed and performed. Timing of test of controls. This is actually called as, in SA 330, timing of test of controls. Length of time elapsed from the last time testing. Yes or no? First one. You see some points, factors will be there. If auditor intends to place greater reliance on effectiveness of a control, states its likely effect on the audit evidence to be obtained as a result of such test. Why a higher level of assurance may be sought by auditor about operating effectiveness of controls? The timing of controls answer only. You see, in our book it is 530. You see, the auditor, I think it is in fact straight in first point, not even timing, though it actually reflected timing. It's about the question is here. You see, why a higher level of assurance may be sought by auditor about operating effective. This is the question. When auditor want to test about effectiveness of operating, when substantive procedures alone do not provide, risk assessment procedure alone do not provide, or there is an expectation for the auditor to get an evidence on operating effectiveness of controls, or substantive procedures alone are not sufficient. When substantive procedure alone is not sufficient in audit, that time also we must perform test of control. Or when the auditor's risk assessment procedures include an expectation to get an information on operating effectiveness of controls. In these two cases, test of controls will be performed in order to get an assurance on how effective they are. I think it is straight away test of controls introduction. In SA 330 itself, introduction para. C, yes, in SA 330, point number C. Okay. In SA 330, point number C in our book. Next, see how good they asked this. Actually, please mark it there. Even in 210 terms of engagement, we discussed it, right? 210 also we discussed it, right? There also mark MTP1 January 25 4B question. MTP1 Jan 25 4B question in SA 330. Actually, another 330 SA 330 question also there. Another SA 330 question also there. 1C, that also you mark there. Then terms of engagement is there. These are exceptional according to me. Remaining all are pretty easy. Yes or no? This is exceptional. Even in SA 210 also we have seen this question in SA 210. 2A na? 2A, that also you mark. Jan 25 MTP1 2A. Very good questions. MCQs were very easy, but descriptive 3 questions we saw which are completely different. The way they're asking is different. Till date we have not seen this kind of. Getting it? Though we are able to recollect to that concept, but still it is better to have this question and then read that concept. So it will register much more strong. Clear? Lotus Limited, a rapidly growing manufacturing company, appointed Riddhi & Co. statutory auditor. The engagement team identified key areas requiring scrutiny such as revenue recognition, inventory, and related party transactions. Based on his professional judgment, Ravi, the engagement partner, directed the engagement team focus on these critical areas, emphasizing the need for detailed testing to ensure accuracy and compliance. Give some examples of the factors to be considered by Ravi for establishing audit strategy. Give some examples of the factor in this context. Directing engagement team efforts. Directing engagement team efforts. Audit strategy chapter, question number 5, I guess, or 6. Question number 6. Inside the directing engagement team efforts, third point, C point. Correct? Huh? Audit planning strategy chapter, question number 7. Huh? Okay. Question number 7, inside the directing engagement team efforts, C point. That one they asked. Mark this also there. In audit strategy chapter, question number 7, point number C, directing engagement team efforts. Inside that points will be there. You see risky areas, non-risky areas, volume of the transaction. Yes or no? That point will be there. You see that one. Mark there 4C MTP1 Jan 25. Compulsorily you should see these questions. When you're reading subsequently revising these questions, you should compulsorily see. Till now in MTP1 we identified 4 questions which are very good, exceptional. Yes or no? 5. KSJS Associates or Stat Auditors of Moon Limited for the year 23-24. During an audit briefing, CS Sanket is the engagement partner, explained that the auditor must assemble the audit documentation and audit file and complete the administrative process of finalizing the file on timely basis after the date of audit report. He also highlighted the requirement of SQC1 regarding establishing policies and procedures for retention of documentation. Explain the requirements related to timely assembly in SQC. You see SQC, engagement performance is one of the quality control element. Inside the documentation point is there. SQC. G4, that's it. Inside the point G, fourth point which is talking about documentation. There you talk about assembly, everything. You see almost 1/2 page about discussion will be there. Correct? Straight. It's a straight question. We also thought that. There also we thought it will be asked as a straight question. The reliability of audit evidence. The reliability of audit evidence depends upon source, nature, and the circumstance under which it is obtained, including controls over the preparation and maintenance. Although exceptions may exist, few generalizations can be made about reliability. Consider generalizations. Documentary evidence is reliable, original is reliable than oral, external is more reliable than internal. Like that, some generalizations were there. 6 points will be there. You see audit evidence, 5th chapter in our book, 6th chapter in our book, SF 500. Inside that 6th or 7th or question, 4, 5, 6, 7. Somewhere it will come. Reliability related discussion. 4, 5, 6, 7. What is the question? SA 500, question number 4. Yes, inside that some sub point would have been there. B point only. Inside the 4th one, B point mainly. Generalizations. There 6 points were there. How many? 5 only there. That's it. Are you clear? 5 marks question, all the 5 points you have to write. Kite Private Limited acquired an immovable property of substantial value during the year 23-24, which is recorded in the financial statements as an addition to PPE. The auditor also observed that this immovable property has been mortgaged to a bank for availing credit facility. How the auditor should verify rights and obligation assertion for the property to ensure entity's legal ownership? It's a PP related rights and obligations point straight away. Items of financials, rights and obligation point. If the title deeds are with the third party, you have to ask a confirmation from the third party. That's it. You see, confirmation procedure, that point is an items of financials. Right question. Okay, I'll proceed to the next one. KR and Associates, an auditor of FDP Limited, observed that the company has implemented various internal controls addressing financial reporting, operational efficiency, and compliances during their preliminary evaluation. Current suggests that all controls should be assessed to mitigate the risk MMS in the financials, while Rajat is of the view that only those controls deemed relevant to audit should be assessed based on professional controls relevant to audit. Question number 20, 21, 22, somewhere it will be there. Not even there. Somewhere before 30, 31, 32. Somewhere you see internal control topic, question number 17 or 18 onwards it starts. Controls relevant to audit, airlines example will be there, factors will be there, materiality, nature of assertion, size of the entity, complexity, points will be there. Comment whether the auditor should assess all internal controls or limit the assessment only to those which are relevant by auditor. Also discuss factors influencing relevance of the control. Risk assessment and internal control topic, controls relevant to audit. Question number 27. Controls relevant to audit. Straight question only, you can easily understand. If you read that question thoroughly, you will understand this easily. You will connect it to this easily. Able to understand. Audit program is a list of examination and verification steps to be applied and set out in such a way that interrelationship of one step to another is clearly shown and designed, keeping in view the assertions apparent in the statements of account produced for audit or based on the appraisal of the accounting gross of the client. For example, while auditing company's inventory, all that. Last point, what are the advantages of program? Straight question, easy. What audit procedure should you perform to verify ownership of inventories including items stored, rights and obligation, inventory assertion? Yes or no? About so much is there. During the audit, Atul noticed the company is facing significant skill labor shortage, operating indicator, resulting in operation of the company. The company's manufacturing is dependent upon skill labor coming from UP. I think this question we have seen in our question bank also. However, due to job opportunities available near villages, many are not interested in leaving their native village. The company failed to keep its commitment due to such situation, consequently lost orders and faced a decrease in revenue. The fixed cost of the company remained high. As a result, the company is facilitating liquidity crunch, is not able to pay creditors on time. The bankers of the company are not willing to help. The auditors has doubts over going concern. How should management of the company try to address auditor? What audit procedure may be performed by auditor in such a situation? When events and conditions that may cast a significant doubt present, what additional audit procedures? In going concern, what are the audit procedures when events and conditions are identified? Question number 6 or 7 somewhere. Preliminary assessment, one question will be there. Fourth question, I think. Then sixth question will be there. When events and conditions are identified, what audit process should be performed? Cash flow. First, auditor has to see whether management has performed an assessment or not. First point. Then if the management has performed the assessment, verifying the underlying reliable data. Which question is that? 570. It is there in our 4th chapter, completion and review. 7, huh? 6th or 7th question, 5, 6, 7. Which one? First point. First point, evaluate whether management has performed an assessment of going concern. That point only. Na? Second, if the assessment is performed, look at the reliability of underlying data. Question number 7 in our book. That's it. Over. MTP1 descriptive part is over. Confident all of you. That's it. Yes. MTP2 January 25 MCQs. Okay. Case scenario 1. Oval Services Limited appointed Rupa and Associates as auditor for the financial year 23-24. The auditors believe that an audit program is crucial in providing clear and comprehensive instructions for the task to be carried out, offering a total perspective of the work involved. This is particularly important for large audits, and as such, they prepared an initial audit program based on company's organization structure and the effective internal control. After understanding the entity and its environment internal control, they prepared the audit program. During the audit, Nitin, the engagement partner, identified issues with the company's debt management practices, prompting the inclusion of more detailed review of the loan agreements. However, in his opinion, the planned review of petty cash was unnecessary due to the company policy of limiting the cash transaction. Thus, review procedures were removed. It's okay. Since petty cash transactions are negligible, it's okay, immaterial, you can ignore that, not an issue, correct? Next, to verify the balances of trade payables, the auditor decided to send external confirmation request to the creditors of the company. These requests were made to verify balances as on 20th March 2024 A date chosen deliberately to ensure the accuracy and completeness of liabilities free from any influence or prior knowledge of the management. Without giving the prior knowledge, we'll choose a date. Then we will intimate the company, of course. Remember, external confirmation we do only through company. Yes or no? This approach was taken to maintain integrity of the confirmation process. It was noted that Keshav traders and Amrit distributors did not respond to confirmation. So two trade payables, two vendors did not respond. Furthermore, the auditor noted that in the financial year 23-24, the company's PPE was revalued, resulting in an increase of 5% in net carrying value of machinery from 10 to 10.5. If it is 10% or more only, we have to disclose it in the financials. Moreover, we should also report it in the CARO. Also, due to significant compliance burden, company is considering themselves to convert into an LLP. Management views that LLP structure is a hybrid business model that combines the advantages of both company and partnerships. Additionally, they believe this conversion would relieve them from mandatory audit. That's wrong. In LLP also mandatory audit is there. Correct? Based on the above facts, answer the following. Whether audit team is correct in excluding the review of petty cash program. Yes, they are correct. 2 yes were there, so we need to look at. Because company's internal control and policy of limiting cash transaction reduce the need for petty cash review in audit program, which is correct. Yes, because audit program should only focus on areas with high financial risk, and petty cash is not a high risk area. Actually, both are correct only, but you cannot straight away conclude petty cash is not a high risk area. You can't straight away. You can conclude is only if controls are effective. Because the company's controls and policy reduce the need for petty cash review. That is more accurate, no? B and D both sounds similar. Correct? B and D both sounds similar. So, because the company's internal control and policy of limiting the cash transaction, because of that only we eliminated. Yes or no? That is the reason. Is there in the question they gave anything about high risk, low risk on petty cash? Nothing. So, the reason is B. Are you clear? Understood? Next. Whether the decision of auditor to send the confirmation request to the creditor of the company on 20th March is justified. Yes, it is justified. 2 S were there. 20th March you can send. Yes or no? External confirmation need not be on the balance sheet date, but it can be any date closer to the balance sheet date. Yes or no? Yes, decision of auditor is correct, as the auditor is allowed to choose any date reasonably close to the balance sheet date for confirmation, and the selected date helps to ensure accuracy and accuracy of the liabilities without consultation. That's wrong. You should always do consultation. Decision of the auditor is correct, is allowed to choose any date which is close to balance sheet date for confirmation, and the selected date should be decided in consultation with management. See, option C is correct. Yes or no? We have seen this point. You have to consult with management, litigations, letter of general inquiry, so much we discussed already. Next, which of the following is not an appropriate procedure? Look at the answer is not an appropriate procedure. Means they'll give you 4 procedures. 3 are right. 1 is wrong. You have to pick up the wrong one. Okay. So which of the following procedure is not an appropriate to verify the balances of vendors, trade payables? Trade payables did not respond. When they did not respond, what you need to do? You need to look at, first of all, when and all purchases were happened from them, what are all payments we made, what are the left out purchases, whether for them whether goods outflow there or not for them really, is it a real purchase or not? Goods inflow is there or not, is it a real purchase or not? Okay, they are not conforming. Subsequent our company would have made payment, no? That and all we verify. Correct? Look at. Which of the following is not a right procedure? First one, breaking down the balance into individual transaction and making sure they actually happen. That is something which is correct, because they're not responding. I want to know whether the transaction really occurred or not. Checking payments made after the year end, who did not respond? That is also one more important thing. Subsequently we paid indicates that we were outstanding as on 31st March. Comparing the balance to original invoices. Yes, it's a right procedure. Request a representation from management confirming that all payables are accurately recorded. If you are not able to get evidence, will you ask representation? Representation is not a substitute for audit procedure or audit evidence. It is only corroborative in nature. Correct? So the answer is D is not an appropriate procedure. Correct? This is not an appropriate. Remaining 3 are appropriate. So the answer is D. Understood, right? In the given case, is there any requirement for separate disclosure of PP? The answer is no, 2 no's were there. So separate disclosure is not required as the change in carrying value is less than 10%. Separate disclosure is not required unless revaluation results in a material change. That's wrong. The answer is B. Correct? The answer is B. 10% or more if change is there only as a regulatory information the company has to show in the financial statements, and the same auditor has to verify and report it in the CARO. Clear? Here they are not talking about CARO. They are talking about disclosure in the financial statements that we have seen in items of financial statements chapter. B. Next, fifth one. What is your perspective on the management's view regarding audit requirement for LLP? An LLP is always required to conduct audit. Wrong. An LLP is always required to conduct an audit if either the turnover exceed 40 lakhs or the capital contribution exceed 25 lakhs, which is correct. If turnover exceed 25, wrong. LLP is required to conduct if capital contribution exceed 25 and the turnover exceed 40. Here the answer is end they are using. That's not. Yes or no? It's not end. Any one condition failed. Actually, if you see the audit requirement of the LLP, an LLP is exempted from audit if turnover does not exceed 40 lakh or capital does not exceed 25 lakh. If any of them exceed, indirectly audit is mandatory. So they are asking in indirect, they are asking in direct speech here. The provision is written in indirect speech. An LLP is exempted from audit. An LLP is not liable for audit if the turnover does not exceed 40 lakh or capital contribution does not exceed. So they reverse negative drafting they did. So or condition they used. Are you getting the point? So the answer is B. Clear? That's it. Actually, sorry, in the provision it is end. Negative way it is end. Turnover shall not exceed 40 lakhs and capital contribution shall not exceed 25. Indirectly, if turnover cross 40 or capital crosses 25, audit is compulsory. Remember this. You see LLP audit, the provision is drafted in a negative way with end end. Getting it? When you are converting it into direct speech, it becomes or. When audit is required, capital crosses 25 lakhs, audit is compulsory. No, capital did not cross. Check turnover. Is it crossing 40? Yes, it is crossing. Any one satisfied enough. Clear? So the answer is B. Is it the end only? Negatively? Yes or no? Because it's negative. Negative drafting. It's not end. Okay. Understood? It's how they drafted it. Clear? Next. So, B, C, D, B, B. Yeah, B, D, C, and this also B. Correct? Next, case scenario 2. Shall we? Shreyansh, a chartered accountancy student, is part of the engagement team conducting the audit of Coimbatore branch of XYZ Bank under the guidance of CA Dilip, the engagement partner. Bank audit question. Shreyansh has been assigned the task of verifying provisions made for the branch NPAs and classification of certain loans as on 31st March, of which details are given as under NPA related discussion. AB Industries, they are in doubtful category 1. Outstanding amount is how much? 10 lakh. It is in lakhs, okay? Amount of provision created 5 lakh. We'll see security fully secured. Doubtful 1, fully secured. Secured portion 25% provision only required, but they created 50% not required. How much is they have to create? 25%, 2.5 lakh. Correct? Mars traders, substandard assets. Substandard assets straight away 15%, irrespective of security. Security, it's not a criteria. 50 lakhs is there, 7.5, which is already 15%. You see 7.5, 50 into 10%, 5 into 5%, 2.5, total 7.5. Correct? So that's so. So it is 15%, which is proper, fully secured. Security doesn't matter. For substandard security, it doesn't matter. Straight away 15%. RS Enterprise. RS Enterprise, doubtful 2. For doubtful 2, 40%. For doubtful 3, 100%. 30, they created 100. That's wrong. 12 lakh is enough. Correct? NPS and Sons loss asset 1 lakh outstanding, 1 lakh, 100% they wrote off. Correct? Only personal guarantee, that and all irrelevant. The moment it becomes doubtful and NPA, irrespective of security, we directly create a provision. Correct? NPA classification is based on record of recovery, not based on the security. Yes or no? But based on security also we classify sometimes NPA when there is an erosion in value of the security. Yes or no? Erosion in value of security. Remember, doubtful asset, loss asset. That is the only NPA norm which talks about security related NPA classification. Generally, NPA classification is based on record of recovery. If at all I am not collecting, we will straight away classify it as NPA. Sir, security is there. It doesn't matter. Correct? Then, housing loan and car loan also they gave. There is a borrower called Mr. Shyam who has availed the following 2 loans from the branch. EMIs are overdue for 120 days, housing loan. Car loan only 60 days, which is NPA. Both are NPA. NPA classification is borrower wise, not facility wise. Yes or no? If one account of a borrower became NPA, remaining all other loan accounts will also become NPA. Both are NPA. More specifically, 60 days overdue, right? This is SMA 1. Correct? Whereas this is straight away NPA. We don't know which question they're asking. We don't know. We'll see. Next. Agriculture advance. The branch has provided 20 lakh under Kisan credit scheme to a farmer for cultivation of paddy, which has a harvest period of 3 to 4 months. It's a short duration crop, less than 12 months. There has been no transaction in the account for at least 90 days. Doesn't matter. 2 crop seasons we will wait. In case of agriculture advance for short duration crop, we wait for 2 crop seasons. The branch has classified the loan as a standard, which is correct, which is proper. Only 90 days overdue. If it is more than 180 days overdue, then the problem comes. Yes or no? CA Dilip has clarified that NPA classification has been verified and is in accordance with RBI guidelines. He is wrong, no? At some places NPA classification is not correct. He instructed Shreyansh to focus on evaluating adequacy of provisions, considering RBI guidelines mandate, specific percentage of provisioning based on NPA classification, all that nature of security. Is a provision for AB Industries doubtful one correct? No. It should be 40 or 20. No. The required provision is 2.5 lakh, 25% of 10 lakh. The answer is C. Considering the housing loan and car loan available by Shyam, which of the following? Both will be classified as NPA in accordance with RBI. Straight away the answer is A. Housing loan is classified as NPA, car loan is standard, that's wrong. Car loan should be classified as NPA, however housing loan wrong. Both should be classified as standard, wrong. So the answer is A. Correct? What is the minimum required provision for RS enterprises, which is D2? 40%, 12 lakh. What is the minimum provision required? 12 lakh. As regarding agriculture advance under Kisan credit card, which of the following statement is most appropriate? The classification made by branch is proper. However, since there is no transaction for 90 days, it's an SMA. That's wrong. The classification made by branch is proper. The branch erred in making classification, it is a doubtful, wrong. The branch erred classification substitute. The answer is C. Yes or no? SMA and all will not apply. When SMA will apply? When there is a overdue. Here it is not overdue. 2 crop seasons due date is there. Yes or no? 2 crop seasons. After 2 crop seasons he didn't pay, then it's a overdue. That time 90 days logic we apply. Correct? There is no overdue for the agriculture loan. In the given case, only 90 days he didn't pay. But actually he has 2 crop seasons. 180 days time limit is there for him. Yes or no? Assuming 3 months is the crop season. If you assume 3 months is the crop season, 6 months time is there. He is defaulted only for 3 months. In fact, it's not a default. Correct? So, 9C, CBAC. CBAC. Yes, CBAC. Correct? Next up. Case scenario 3. MCP associates are having 3 partners, namely Mahavir, Chandana and Prabha. Mahavir is about to conclude audit of a company. During the audit, he noticed that there is a shortage of important raw material supplies being imported from China due to prevailing geopolitical situation. The company has shared with him the plan to deal with the situation. He is satisfied with the assessment of the company for dealing with the matter. Shortage of important supply. Operating indicator, going concern. Yes or no? But company has showed him a plan how to deal with it. The issue is disclosed in the financial statements, and considering management assessment, it is felt that use of going concern assumption by the company in preparation of financial statement is appropriate, and the issue is also disclosed in financials. Unmodified opinion we will give. Yes or no? He also verifies that all subsequent events have been accounted for and requested written representation from management, although the representation include qualifying language. Qualifying language means to the best of our knowledge and belief. That is qualifying language in representation. Significant findings were communicated both orally and in writing to those charged with governance with relevant communications documented. Okay, significant and all they communicated orally as well as in writing. Then that is regarding Mahavir. Then Chandana is conducting an audit of manufacturing company dealing in towels and bedspreads. The company's inventory is spread across its own locations and third party premises. As a part of audit, she is performing many procedures required by different standards on auditing. She attends the physical inventory count and sends confirmation for trade receivables and SS controls. Okay, she relies upon sampling extensively while auditing the transactions, balances and controls. Okay, they just gave information. CA Prabha is auditing firm's financial statements and perform detailed procedures to verify assertions. The firm is engaged in export of goods. Some entity is there where they are exporting goods to the Europe. The sales invoice raised in euros are converted into Indian rupees as per the applicable norms. Already invoices were converted into Indian rupees. She checks classification of expenses, ensures trade payables are genuine, compares current and past wages, verifies title deeds per land, and checking the accuracy of the calculation of conversion into Indian rupees, examining title deeds per land, inspection, correct? Comparing current and past wages, analytical procedures, ensuring trade payables are genuine existence, yes or no, and classification, currency conversion, accuracy of calculation, recalculation. Already calculated, she is once again checking accuracy. That means what is she doing? Exactly. Which of the following best describes Mahavir's responsibility for subsequent event? He has no obligation to perform procedures for events occurring between the date of financials and audit report. That's wrong. He should perform necessary procedures to know about events occurring between date of financials and procedures. That is right. He has no obligation to perform audit procedures after signing of the audit report. Even if he comes to know the event which is of no even, that word is wrong. He has to only rely upon representation of the management regarding subsequent. He has no other means. That is wrong. So the answer is B. He should perform necessary procedure to know about events occurring between date of financials and date of audit report. Subsequent event procedures. Correct? The answer is B. Next. Which is the most appropriate action CA Chandana should take for verifying inventories held at third party premises? Request confirmation of inventory quantity condition from third parties or inspect the inventory at their premises. Correct. Inspect all inventories at third party premises without requesting. That's wrong. Rely on management representation. Wrong. Confirm inventory value along with quantity and condition. That's wrong. Physical verification time value is irrelevant. When you are verifying existence of inventory, you should only confirm regarding quantity and conditions. For verifying inventory held at third party, you want to know about the existence and condition. You are not dealing with valuation under 501. So the answer is A. 99% students pick this. That's wrong. Because she is doing physical verification aspect. In physical verification aspect, only existence and condition we see. We don't look at valuation. Remember, 501 do not deal with valuation. Next. Which procedure Prabha performed to verify whether conversion of foreign currency Indian rupee recalculation straight away? Correct? Easy or not? Next. So what is the 12th one? 12 B A B. You got right? Fine. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Next. CA Kamal, a partner at KPS and Co, is conducting an audit of Riddhi Limited, a manufacturing company. During the audit, it was found that KPS and Co generates 72% of its total revenue from Riddhi Limited. Firm is getting 70% of the revenue. Self-interest threat. Raising concerns about the independence on the single client, a dependence on the single client. Identify the kind of threat. Self-interest threat already there in MTP1 also. Correct? The auditor is evaluating most appropriate method to assess internal control system of the company. The selected method should be widely recognized for gathering information about existence of the control, operation of the control, and efficiency of the control. So we should get the data about the control, how it is operating, how effectively it is operating. while also minimizing risk of oversight of important review. All the reviews should be covered, everything should be covered. Further, the method should facilitate easier interim reviews of controls. Which method is most appropriate? Internal control questionnaire. We have seen the same points. Internal control questionnaire facilitates effective review at interim levels. All that we have points in our book. Yes or no? Option number A, straight away. Gauri told her friends that she had read a news report about how a company has misled its auditor by producing some fabricated documents. Scope of audit. Scope of audit does not include. Auditor is not an expert witness in testifying. Which of the following statements seems to be appropriate in this regard? Auditor has to conduct audit by exercising skill, but he is not an expert in discovering genuineness of the document. Hence, management consisting of dishonest person may have lead him to rely upon fabricated documents deliberately. Correct option. This is appropriate. It was wrong on the part of the auditor to rely upon fabricated wrong. Management cannot mislead the auditor due to high level of knowledge and expertise. This is the arrogance auditors are having. Okay. Although it was wrong on the part of the auditor to rely upon fabricated document, he cannot do anything in the matter. He has to report on the basis of documents. That is wrong. The answer is A. Yes or no? So the answer is A, B. That's it. A, B. Over. Easy or not? That's it. We'll take 2 minutes gap and then start, descriptive. This will finish faster. ABC Private Limited, a manufacturing company, is facing significant financial difficulty due to downfall in market and increase in cost of production. C.A. Ram, the auditor of ABC, has identified the following. The company has defaulted major loan, current liabilities exceeded by current assets by 50%, sales revenue declined by 30% compared, significant factors, going concern. Management has not yet performed an assessment of going concern, okay, but they provided assurance for implementing corrective measures, including cost-cutting initiatives and discussions with creditors for restructuring. Which additional process auditor has to perform? Array, same question. Question number 7, 570. Correct? Huh? Next, C.A. Rishi is appointed as an auditor of AAR Limited for the financial year ending 31st March. During the audit, he observed that the company books of accounts reflect a significant number of trade payables and receivables as on the balance sheet date. To verify accuracy of these trade receivables, decided to send confirmation requests to some of the receivables. However, the management refused to permit to send receivable to selected parties. Refusal to send confirmation, 505. 505. Yes or no? Inside that review, when management refused, some 4th or 5th question. Question number 4. Correct? Tanuj, the auditor of Kiran Limited, completed the audit work and issued auditor's report on 18th August 2024 for the financial year ended on 31st March 2024. During the final assembly of audit file, he discarded some supporting schedules as same were outdated and corrected cross-referencing errors in working papers. No new conclusions were drawn and the final audit file was assembled on 10th October. So audit 18th August, assembly was completed on 10th October, which is within 60 days, which is proper. On the basis of standards on auditing regarding audit documentation, comment, it's SA 230, assembly point, question number 5 or 6 or 7, something is there. SA 230, documentation, 5th chapter in our book. Question number 5. Question number 5, assembly, time, assembly of final audit file, you see. That point, some 4, 5 points will be there, correct? Deepa Limited initially requested an audit engagement for the financial year 23-24. However, midway through the audit process, the management claims that they are unable to provide complete supporting documentation for a significant portion of their receivable. As a result, management asked the auditor to change the audit to a review engagement, arguing that it would prevent the issuance of qualified. The auditor is now facing a challenge in determining whether this change is justified or not. SA 210, change in terms of engagement to a level lower assurance. Question number 4. Sorry, it's a serial number 12. Okay, question number 12. We have seen enough there. We spent a lot of time on that. Yes or no? Question number 12 in SA 210. Actually, there no. For each standard, we didn't start numbering fresh. Ethics onwards, numbering will be there. That's why it is question number 12. But in 210, it is some 4th or 5th question only. In 210, the order refusal is 4th or 5th question only. 5th question. That's it. In 210, it is a 5th question. Request for changes in terms of engagement. The question itself is changes in terms of engagement. That's it. Caro 2020 shall apply to every company, including foreign company. It exempts certain class of companies. What are the class of companies exempt? Straight question, easy. Yes or no? RST, a mid-sized trading company, recently faced challenges in securing a bank loan due to doubts about reliability of financial statements. The management realized the importance of having audited accounts to build evaluate the benefits of audit. Question number 7 in our invoice objective, nature, objective and scope of audit. Question number 7 or 9 something. Advantages of audit. NOS 7 up. Question number 7. Getting it? Question number 7, nature, objective and scope of audit. 8 hey, who said 7? Benefits of audit. See, advantages of audit, benefits of audit. Okay, you decide which question later. Next, during the audit of Smile Bank. Okay, we'll continue. CSVT focused on come back, no bank audit. Okay, CSVT focused on understanding risk management process of the bank. She reviewed how management developed controls and used performance indicators to monitor key business and financial. SVT also assessed whether risk management system is effectively identified in mitigating risk. How should SVT evaluate? This is actually kept for self-study. I told you to read this after risk assessment inter-control chapter. In the bank audit, question number 9, I guess. How should SVT evaluate bank's risk management controls? 5 points will be there, you see. Bank's risk management process, 5 points will be there. Question number 8 only in between some point. Or maybe it is given as a 9th question. Bank audit, question number 8 or 11 it is there. What is the process for conducting bank audit? First, initial considerations. 2, terms of engagement. Question number 10. Array. In below risk management process like that is there. Look at 11th question. Question number 11th question. Bank audit, I told you to read this after internal control chapter. Question number 11, that question. Clear? That you can study on your own because they are nothing but 5 components of internal control discussion only. Yes or no? Very important that question. You please read later on also. Amman Cooperative Society appointed Fab and Associates as an auditor for the financial year 23-24. During the audit, the auditors noted the following details. Society ma cooperative society, please be careful. Number of shares 1000 shares at 10 rupees each. Okay. Net profit before compulsory reserve 10,000 shares. Net profit after compulsory reserve 8,000. Mr. Dairia, a member of the society, holds 200 shares amounting to 2,000. A member of a cooperative society cannot hold more than 1,000 rupees face value. However, a society can hold more than 1,000 rupees face value of shares in a society. Only individual member cannot hold more than 1,000. This is wrong. Yes or no? And upon verifying society borrowings, the auditor found that cooperative society has accepted a loan from Shivam, a non-member. Yeah, society can borrow. Bylaws, if bylaws permit. The auditor did not find any restriction in the bylaws which is permitted. Comment on the above transactions with reference to, you write about restriction on share capital, restriction on borrowings and give a conclusion. Over. Easy or not? But look at the answer, MTP2 answer later. Okay, look at the MTP2 answer later. Restriction on borrowing, restriction on capital, you write, and then you give a conclusion that capital violated, the Dairia is violating capital norm. Yes or no? Whereas borrowings, no problem. In establishing overall audit strategy, the auditor shall, among other considerations, ascertain nature, timing, extent or resource necessary to perform. Explain those considerations in detail. What are the factors to be considered in establishing overall audit strategy? I think straight question. Yes or no? Look at the answer. 3C. What answer they give, we'll see. Correct only. Side headings only you have to write. Remember? Correct? Next. During the audit of HST Limited, CA Mukund, the auditor observed a significant volume of unsold electronic parts as inventory that had remained stagnant for more than 2 years. He noted that company was facing difficulty selling these items due to changes in market. Some parts were damaged and others were discontinued models. Mukund also ensured that inventory was accurately valued to ensure proper financial reporting. You are required to outline detailed procedure that are generally undertaken when auditing such inventory where at the time of observance of damaged or obsolete. Straight point is there in our book. In inventory, not that items of financial statements, inventory topic is there, you see inventory. Inside that obsolete damaged inventory, some paragraph is there, you see. We have seen this. Valuation assertion, obsolete inventory, paragraph will come. That only you have to write. Correct? So inventory valuation related assertions, obsolete or damaged inventory, that point there also I told this itself can be asked a 3 or 4 marks question. Next, can I proceed? That engagement partner of a firm of auditor is explaining to his audit team undergoing practical training the interrelationship between audit strategy and plan. Discuss the points with engagement partner to explain what is the relationship between overall audit strategy and audit plan. Question number 8. I think 8 only. Question number 8. Audit strategy planning chapter, you see. Audit strategy planning chapter. Correct, huh? Question number 8. Huh? Hey, open and see, no, market. Relationship between overall audit strategy and audit plan. Question number 9. Huh? Yes, 9. Okay, that answer only. Next. Callan Retail Limited is preparing its annual financial statements and the auditors are tasked with determining materiality. The company uses revenue as a benchmark as its key indicator for performance. However, Callan Retail has recently opened new stores and closed underperforming one, which could significantly affect both revenue and profitability. As per the given case, what factors auditors should consider while selecting the most appropriate benchmark? In our book, question number 7 onwards, it will start. Some 10. Other benchmark selection factors, risk assessment. Question number 11. Factors affecting benchmark. Items of financial statements. Yes or no? Reporting requirement under applicable financial reporting framework. All that. Next. Messrs. AR and Associates have been appointed as Stat Auditor Future Limited, which is a company engaged in business of manufacturing of hardware products. They are analyzing the monthly trends for expenses like rent, power, fuel, repairs, and are also verifying attributes, list down attributes. I told you this itself is a side question. Items of financial statements, last page you go. Items of financials, last page. You see attributes point will be there. Power of fuel attributes, list of attributes to be verified. They are relating to, I told you, in PGBP section 37 also, similar points like that I told. In income tax also I linked with that. They are not personal in nature, they are revenue in nature, not a capital expenditure, they related to business of the entity, yes or no? Correct? Kavita, the auditor of Healthify Limited, while assessing potential risks of MMS related to litigations of Healthify Limited, identified a possible legal claim that could affect the company financials. She sent a general inquiry to the company's legal counsel, Mohit & Co, asking clarification. Letter of general inquiry she sent. However, Mohit & Co informed her that their professional rules prohibit them from responding to general. That time what you have to do? Letter of specific inquiry. Yes or no? Guide CA Kavita. What other option is available? 501. Litigations and claims. Point C, I guess so. 501 you open. Open index, open 501. 6th chapter. Inside that CA. Capital letter CA. Litigations and claims. Question number 6. 501 ma. 501. Question number 6. Question number 6. That's it. Inside that which point? Third point. Letter of specific inquiry. You see there and all we told. Auditor can ask, can list out the proceeding and amount involved and ask the lawyer to confirm. We discussed it. So in depth. See how specifically they are asking now. Yes or no? Familiarity threats are self-evident and occur when auditors form relations with the client where they end up being too sympathetic. Familiarity threat, give examples. Straight question. Ethics topic, second chapter ethics topic. Inside that familiarity threat examples will be there. That answer. When more persuasive audit evidence is needed regarding effectiveness of a control, it may be appropriate to increase the extent of test of control as well as degree of reliance on the controls. Discuss the matters auditor may consider in determining extent of test of 330 standard. Extent of test of controls question side heading will be there. You see 330 risk assessment and internal control. Extent of control, risk assessment control, last page. Last but one page. Extent of test of controls. What is the alphabet? C. D. Delhi. Yeah, fine. Extent of test of control. SA 330. Risk assessment topic, last pages, it will be there, last 2 pages. D point inside that, it's a D capital side heading. Extent of test of control. Yes or no? AST Limited business has grown from one state of India to various countries of the world. Since the business has increased manifold, the management decided to appoint joint auditor. For which work joint auditors are jointly and severally liable. Responsibility of joint auditor question, slide 299, easy. Yes or no? Next, this is new management. Like, directly look at this. New management was of the view that they can give written representation from the date they took over, not for the prior period when old management were managing the affairs. 580, question number 11, I guess, or question number 10. You open 580, question number 10 or 11. I told you, CFO example, recently joined. He said he will not give representation letter. That one. What is the question? Question number 10 or 11? SA 580. Inside that, one big point will be there. Some 7-8 lines point will be there. Only single point. Question number 580. Last it will be. It will be in the last. 8th question. Current management. Like that you will find the word. That's it. 8th question. Which point? That point will be some 5-6 lines. Yes, that one only. Correct? I told you in CFI also this was asked. Yes or no? Yeah. Knowledge of client business play an important role in developing an overall audit. In fact, without adequate knowledge of client business, a proper audit is not possible. Why all that? Look at the question directly. You see, the auditor shall obtain an understanding of the relevant industry, regulatory, other external factors, including the applicable financial reporting framework, substantiated with the help of examples. Relevant regulatory, relevant industry, regulatory, other external. What is industry, regulatory, other external factors? Knowledge of you see this question risk assessment and internal controller. Audit strategy chapter. In our book it is there, we have seen. Relevant industry, regulatory. First point this is. Inside that book, inside that question, first point. I think risk assessment, internal control only. Internal control topic you open. Internal control topic you open. Where is it? 16. Question number 16. Inside that point A. A point fully up to right. Actually, there are 4 factors. One is relevant industry, regulatory, other external factors. Second factor, nature of the entity. Fourth factor is about review of financial performance. Measurement and review of performance. You have a book, you are not able to. C point is business risk and strategy. Yes or no? C point is relevant business risks and strategy. Yes or no? 4 factors are there. Inside that first factor only was asked. Are you clear? And I told you inside that what is the example for regulatory, what is the example for external factor, what is the example for industry. I also classified it. Yes or no? Yes. Over. MTP2 no much challenging questions. All are straight questions from the book. Correct? Only in MTP1 4 questions were a bit challenging. Correct? That's it. Jan 25 MTP1 MTP2 with all descriptive MCQs completed. Confident? That's it. Yes. So case scenario 1. This is September 24 exam related suggested answer. Okay. Directly we'll solve MCQs. GHB Limited, which is a listed company having its registered office at New Delhi, is in the business of blending, processing, packing and selling various brands of tea. BPP & Co. LLP, which is a chartered accountants firm, they are appointed as stat auditors of the company for the financial year 23-24. TAB is engagement partner for the assignment. Okay. So the firm is appointed as stat auditor. The company is engaged in branding of tea, manufacturing, blending, processing, packing of the tea. The company has a centralized warehouses near the border of Himachal Pradesh. TAB's attendance on 31st March at physical inventory counting in aspect of the said warehouse became impracticable on account of natural calamity. Then alternative procedure. It also became impossible to perform alternative procedure to obtain evidence regarding existence and condition. Modified opinion 705. Easy. the company had spent huge amount on employee benefits. Hence, B instructed his assistants to test the controls that the company set around the employee benefit expenses. After being satisfied with controls maintained by the company, he instructed his team to bifurcate the employee benefit expense into salaries and wages, contribution to PF, expenses on ESOP, and staff welfare. It's a presentation and disclosure. Employee benefit expenses has to be classified into 4 heads like this. It's a presentation and disclosure requirements, items of financial statements, yes or no? The engagement partner B, while evaluating, validating and reporting on design and efficiency of IFC at GHB Limited, also impressed upon the directors, independent directors and audit committee the way in which company had placed a greater emphasis on the implementation and reporting of internal controls. Naturally, if you see directors, auditors, independent directors, audit committee, all of them will be having some responsibility towards IFC. 47, 48th question in our risk assessment and internal control chapter. 47th or 8th question is having directors, independent directors, audit committee. What are the responsibilities? We have a question there, you see. Independent directors, through code of independent directors, they need to see efficiency of internal controls. Audit committee has to see efficiency of IFC. Directors has to include about IFC in a, which one? Board director responsibility statement. Then auditor has to give their opinion on the operating effectiveness, adequacy and operating effectiveness under 143 subsection 3 clause I. Yes or no? Same 4 points will be there if you see. I told that there itself also I told this can be asked as a theory question or MCQ. Due to time constraint, CAB is under pressure to issue a clean report in limited time frame. He has insufficient time to properly perform or complete the relevant duties and issue appropriate audit report. You don't have time to issue proper audit report. The board of directors wants CAB to certify debtors to be sent to bank without checking. CAB agrees as most of the professional income is coming from this particular company, self-interest threat. They have undue dependence on the fees from the company, hence they're concerned about losing the engagement. Based on the above, answer the 5 questions. Since it became impracticable for B on March 31st to attend physical inventory counting at warehouse and also became impossible to perform alternate audit procedure to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence regarding existence and condition of inventory, CAB shall modify the opinion in the audit report because you did not get evidence. Remember, we have seen this point. Alternative procedures, if it is not possible, straight away we have to take an action as per 705. Yes, the answer is D. Omit altogether, wrong. Rely on perpetual inventory records, wrong. Take management representation, wrong. You don't know physically how much is there in the inventory. Without seeing that, how can you conclude whether it is accurate or not? Yes or no? So the answer is D. Which assertion concerning the bifurcation of employee expenses into various heads? What assertion auditor is verifying? Disclosure. Correct? It's not occurrence, measurement, completeness. It's about classification and disclosure and presentation. With reference to reporting on IFC under the Companies Act, which of the following does not fall within the nature of responsibility? Which is not a responsibility of GHB? Company is not responsibility. In accordance with the terms of reference specified in writing by the board, act of every audit committee to include evaluation of IFC and risk management. Yes, as per audit committee role and responsibility, they have to evaluate adequacy and efficiency of effectiveness of IFC. That is their responsibility. That's company responsibility indirectly. Director responsibility statement shall state that director had laid down IFC to be followed by the company and that controls are adequate and were operating effectively. You see in that 47 or 48th question, this is that 47. These 2 points are there, you see. Audit committee point is there, you see. 47th question, correct? DRS, director responsibility statement is there. Board of directors have to appoint an expert to state that internal financial controls of the company are commensurate with the nature and size. Yes, it is there. In terms of, sorry, this is not there. We'll see. In terms of code of independent directors to get themselves satisfied that financial controls and risk management are robust and defensible. This point is there in your 47, yes or no? Another 4th point is that is regarding stat auditors. So C is not. There is no need to expert. There is no need to appoint expert. Is it compulsory to appoint an expert? Is that there in the responsibility under Companies Act? What is the responsibility under Companies Act for IFC? This point is not there, you see, in our book. Yes or no? You open 47th question. Various responsibilities under Companies Act. 1. Audit committee must verify. Direct responsibility statement must say independent directors has to get evidence on the financial controls and has to satisfy regarding risk management and robust defensible. So what is not relevant under Companies Act? Board of directors have to appoint an expert to say, to design, to state that internal controls are commensurate. No such requirement. Auditors have to tell whether internal financial controls are adequate and are operating effectively. Yes or no? That is auditor responsibility, not again company responsibility. Able to understand? So the answer is C. 4. Due to tight deadlines, P has insufficient time to properly perform or complete the duties and he has to sign off a clean report. Which fundamental principle ethics is disregarded by him? Due care. Professional competence and due care. He has to do audit carefully, irrespective of time, cost. Yes or no? It's not about behavior, it's not about integrity, it's not about objectivity. It is professional competence and due care. Correct? Undue dependence on the fee creates which type of threat? Self-interest threat. Option is C. So CA, CDD. I think it's there at the last. Yeah, CACDD. Correct? Next. Second case scenario. Krish and Company is a firm of chartered accountant based in Punjab, CAKRISH. Okay, they are the partners of the firm. The firm is engaged in various audits. The engagement partners who were handling the respective assignments for the year 23-24 dealt with the following issues raised during the course of their respective audits. 4 partners were there. 4 of them are involved in 4 different types of audits. What are the issues were there? They are listing out. Correct? Krish & Co is appointed as joint auditor along with the PK and Associates and RS and Associates for audit of a large manufacturing company 23-24. PK, RS and Krish, all 3 of them are joint auditors. CAK is in charge of this audit. One of the partners is K. He is in charge for this audit. He is the engagement partner for this particular joint audit. They have divided their audit areas and also identified the common areas which will be applicable to all the joint auditors. While forming the opinion, CAK had a different opinion, whereas other 2 audit firms shared the same opinion. Both of them contended that they were forming majority. Krish also will have to agree. That's wrong. Majority will not prevail. CAR, another partner, okay, is conducting stat audit of Pavan Limited. He observed that during the year, the company had issued shares at premium and has transferred the amount received as premium to Securities premium account. He wants to ensure that Pavan has utilized the amount available in Securities premium account for the purpose for which it is permitted. Section 52, 5 purposes. And for those companies for accounting standards are applicable 3 purposes. Registrar of Societies, Cooperative Societies has appointed Krish & Co as stat auditor of NAND Cooperative Society for the financial year 23-24. Corporate Society Registrar will appoint the auditor. CAI is looking for this audit of said society. During the year, in terms of Section 34 of the Societies Act, with sanction of the registrar, society has contributed for charitable purpose as defined in Section 2 of the Endowment Act. CAI is ensuring whether requirements as regarding contributions. Yes, before compulsory transfer to reserve fund, 10% of the net profit can be contributed for charitable purpose. Yes or no? All the engagement partners and the audit team of Krish & Co have deliberations and discussions every week through Google Meet to review the progress of their respective assignments. During the last meet, CASH, the managing partner, briefed to the team about form, content, extent of documentation in terms of 230 while citing examples of records to be excluded as well as to be included as part of documentation. Understood what all the partners are doing? Now, based on the facts, give the answers. In case of difference of opinion between joint auditor, what course of action Mrs. Krish & Co has to take? They will have to agree. They will have to agree. They can add a separate audit opinion paragraph in the common audit. Wrong. They can issue a separate audit report, and the audit report issued by joint audit shall make reference to each other audit. Correct? D. Securities premium account cannot be applied for which? In writing of debit balance in P&L. That's it. We cannot use. Can we use securities premium account for revenue loss? P&L debit balance is revenue loss. We can't use. Yes or no? We can only use it for capital purposes. Yes or no? In writing of expenses commission paid, it can be. For purchase of buyback, it can be. For unissued shares fully paid, it can be. Correct? CAI, who is in charge of audit of NAND cooperative society, wants to ensure that the society has contributed for charitable purpose within the limits prescribed. How much is the society allowed for contribution? Can contribute an amount not exceeding 10% of the net profits remaining after compulsory transfer to reserve. I think it is after transfer to reserve fund only. Yeah. The transfer to society, I mean charitable purposes, after compulsory transfer to reserve fund, if any profit is left, in the 10% can be given for charitable purpose. Sometimes in exam they may give you here before. That's wrong. It is after. While explaining, I accidentally slipped saying it's before. It's actually after. Contribute an amount of appropriate rate as per the class of society. No, that's contribution amount 20%. Contribute annually at prescribed percentage of profits as approved by the general body. That is also wrong. This is more accurate. Yes or no? A is more accurate. So the A is right answer. Correct? Which of the following need not be included by audit team as a part of documentation during handling of respective significant contracts and agreements? You will document. Draft engagement. No. This you will not document. Correct? Not to be included. You document final engagement letter. Draft you will not document. Summaries of matters you will document. Checklist you will document. The answer is B. Easy. Next. So 9B, 8A. So BAAD. Correct? So BAAD. Next. Another case scenario. Mega Power Limited is a manufacturer of solar lanterns which are used in remote villages where there is no supply of electricity. However, due to power projects undertaken by government, the demand for solar lanterns has significantly declined over past few years. The company was in need of 2 crore for working capital and other expenses but was not able to fund this amount. Consequently, their suppliers were paid much later than usual and hence some of them withdraw credit terms, meaning the company had to pay cash on delivery. Financial indicator going concern. This created a severe cash crunch and the auditor feels that other than cash crunch, there are several other financial indicators that cast significant doubt on company's ability to continue as a going concern. The management of the company assures the auditor that this is temporary and the situation will change as they are planning to diversify their business. They are ready to provide written representation for the same. The auditor feels that a material uncertainty still exists. The auditor wants the management to make adequate disclosure about this in the financial statements. The auditor want to include a separate section about this in the audit report. Material uncertainty related to going concern. He is also contemplating about kind of audit report that should be issued. If management discloses everything properly, unmodified opinion. Correct? The auditor has concerns about ethical values and diligence of the management. He is concerned about reliability of the representation made by management and the audit evidence in general. The auditor is of the opinion that written representations are not reliable. You will give disclaimer of opinion. Written representation, if it is not reliable, what you will do? Disclaimer. Based on the above facts, financial events or conditions that may cast a doubt on entity ability to continue of going concern does not include. Financial indicator does not include inability to comply with the term loan agreements, financial indicator. Inability to pay creditors on time, financial indicator. Shortage of supply, that's an operating indicator. Substantial operating loss, that's a financial. So the answer is C. What kind of audit report will auditor issue? If use of going concern base is appropriate but a material uncertainty exists and adequate disclosure of material uncertainty is made in the financials, unmodified opinion. Correct? Disclosure is made adequately. Then if the auditor is of the opinion that written representations are not reliable, what kind of opinion? Directly disclaimer. Correct? That's it. Disclaimer. The answer is disclaimer. So ACC. Yes, ACC. Correct? Then we have 3 more questions. DEF and Associates have been appointed as stat auditor of JK Limited for the first time for the financial year 24-25. The engagement partner D is briefing his engagement team about need of the engagement standards and quality control standards in the area of financial statements audit in other types of assurance services. Okay. Out of the following, which of the point is not correct about the standards? Need of the standards. If you see last question in our first chapter, Nature, objective and scope of audit, need of the standards is the last question. In that, which of the following is not included? Standards equip professional accountants with knowledge and skill. It is there. Standards ensure audit quality. Standards promote uniformity as audit of financial statement is carried out following the standards. Standards ensure carrying out audit against established benchmarks at par with local practices. That's wrong. That is not the objective of standard. Yes or no? Are you clear? Standards purpose is making local to global, not global to local. Correct? So the answer is D. This is not correct about standard. Next. RDB & Co have been appointed as stat auditors of INA groups of hotels. This is the first time the firm is auditing an industry in the food and beverage. The engagement partner R and other key team members of the team have undertaken the activity of development of audit plan of INA hotels after thorough understanding of hotel business and its environment. As per 300, description of which of the following matter is not a part of developing an audit plan? Which of the following is not a part of audit plan? Nature, timing of risk assessment, nature, timing of further audit, other planned procedures that are required to be carried out. All the three will be included. Nature, timing, extent of resources necessary. This is part of audit strategy. Yes or no? So the answer is C. Which of the following is not a matter to be considered while developing an audit plan? In audit plan, you plan risk assessment, further any other procedures required as per various standards on auditing. So C is not included as part of development of audit plan. Correct? Nature, timing, extent of resources necessary to perform. This is a consideration for establishing overall audit strategy. Yes or no? While establishing strategy and plan, this is a consideration. But in the plan, what is not included? How many resources are necessary? That discussion will not be part of the plan. Clear? So the answer is C. Then the board of directors of the company wanted the auditors to certify export sales during the year for submitting to authorities. The auditors has also signed the confirmation letters to be sent to various debtors and creditors for confirming their balances. UDIN is required to be generated by the auditor for export sales, confirmation letters, export sales, no. Only export sales certificates. Only for reports and certificates we should give UDIN. For external confirmation we use UDIN. It's just a communication document. It doesn't require UDIN. UDIN is required only for certificates and reports which are being signed by the auditor, where some third party will rely upon it. External confirmation, is it a certificate? Is it a report? Are you getting it? It's a procedure of the auditor. Getting it? Documentation item, that is. That's it. The answer is A. Getting it? So UDIN is required for export sales only. So 15A, C, D. A is there, C and D. That's it. MCQs are done. Clear, all of you?